And good evening. My name is Pat Ford. For those of you folks I haven't met, and tonight, for the first time in many months, thanks to the hard work of a bunch of folks on the LNC, we are back in live talking about, well, affiliate affairs. Uh, Sadly, tonight, it's tragedy that brings us together. I'm welcoming back in the vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Kentucky, and I'll allow him to introduce himself. But the purpose of this show going forward will be to discuss affiliate affairs and bring once again to Libertarian Nation what's happening in a variety of states, best practices, controversies in terms of fighting the duopoly, not fighting ourselves. We'll be talking about, well, issues like tonight, where we talk about a charitable response from the Libertarian Party nationally to support not just libertarians, but the citizens of Kentucky. We'll talk about ballot access in individual states. We'll talk about, well, the programs and the training that's available to us. It is my sincere hope, as not only being the Region 8 representative, but the chair, if you will, of the Affiliate Support Committee for the Libertarian National Committee, to bring a variety of training and a variety of resources to affiliates around the nation. Right now, a little bit of background noise. I'm in the Jim Gillen Teen Center, part of Anchor Recovery in Providence, Rhode Island. I was just covering a debate amongst mayoral candidates talking about, well, recovery efforts in a very provocative moment. But I'm thrilled to be back here on the air for the Libertarian Party. Mr. Tyler, why don't you reintroduce yourself to the Libertarian Party nationwide?
Yeah, my name's James Toller. I'm the current vice chair of the Libertarian Party of Kentucky. I'm a candidate, ran for office in 20, doing so again this year. But I love doing volunteer work to get out and help other people. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Retired, so you know what? I got more time to even get out and help other people when the time's needed. So we that's me in a nutshell. And I'm doing now. I think actually what I might be supposed to be doing. Maybe instead of running for office, I don't know, because it seems like that's all I get done is disaster relief work. So.
Well, that's actually the whole point of tonight, because we're about to go into a conversation about what's been happening over the last week or so in Eastern Kentucky, but it's also a function of the libertarian mission writ large. We always talk about volunteerism and replacing government bureaucracy, government outreach, government force with actual acts of charity, acts of mercy to support people in our communities. What I hope to steer working forward with alongside of a great team is nothing less than an effort nationally to, starting tonight, to build together a response to issues like we saw in Eastern Kentucky this week. Now, we know each other because, well, we ran into a dire situation last year, and we were successful in raising funds and raising, if you will, contributions of a variety of personal items on a grand scale for people who are victims of the tornadoes in Western Kentucky. We come together again, and it's great to see you, but it's for all the wrong reasons, isn't it? So let's talk tonight about what we as a Libertarian Party can do to support citizens, the people, the communities, just folks, as we like to say, in the eastern part of the state. Let's talk about it as part of our mission. All right. The overall mission of the Libertarian Party includes, of course, taking human action. And this is a direct example. And on a shall we say, an administrative basis, on a strategy basis, what we want to present to people regularly in the Libertarian Party are ways that we can support the community in an organized, targeted manner with boots on the ground, like Mr. Toller. So bring us up to date on the situation in Eastern Kentucky. Give us a little bit of the scope. I know you are in fact literally boots on the ground. You're seeing firsthand what's happening there. Give us the background.
Yeah, so about a week ago, well, a little over a week ago, Eastern Kentucky, all of Kentucky got a lot of rain, but in Eastern Kentucky, they got a lot more than the rest of the state, which caused it to flood. Whenever you hear of a flood, you hear of a town or something like that to get flooded. When we say Eastern Kentucky flood, it was Eastern Kentucky flood. Um, you're looking at about 10% of the state's counties underwater. All of Eastern Kentucky was flooded, and it's still raining here, and all of this rain's going to Eastern Kentucky. So what's the water that has receded will actually rapidly flood again. It's There was places with 36 feet of water in a downtown area. And I mean, literally could not see houses, could not see businesses, could not see any kind of building whatsoever. The only thing you could see was vehicles floating down through the water, houses floating down through the water. That's what you literally seen. And the recovery help and the loss of life is is tragic. And this is a big, in December, like you said, Pat, I was on here talking about and trying to get help with the tornadoes of Western Kentucky. Well, that was tragic, but this is even bigger, large scale than what the tornadoes were. Everybody that watches this stepped up in a big way in December, and I think that they will this time. As far as donating, money or calling in orders to Walmart for us to pick up and things like that. And I really appreciate that. And not only me, but the people that's been affected appreciate that.
We're looking at, and I want to be careful with the terminology here because very often in the media, you hear the usual euphemisms: large scale devastation, loss of life, businesses shuttered, lives destroyed. It's all of that and more. Uh, you're facing difficult climate conditions down there, continuing rain, entire communities literally being wiped off the face of the earth. And it sounds almost like a video game. But there's so much more of that. Talk about the devastation, the loss of life, as it actually some of the anecdotes, but just the overall level of despair that exists right now in Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, it's really bad, guys. And one story that kind of sticks out to me, and we call them stories, but this really isn't a story. This is a real life situation. And a family, a mother and a father and their 4 kids, they got into a boat and thought they were being rescued. Thought they were on easy street to get out. The boat capsized. The mom and the dad made it out, but they lost all 4 kids.
Oh my God.
It's the families are being tore up over this. And the thing is, where these people staying, I don't know, because everything is flooded. They might have made a trip to Lexington to get a hotel room. I don't know. It's going to be months. And when I say months, I don't mean 2 months. It's going to be longer than 2 months before these people even get electric. I mean, it's bad. I went out to Western Kentucky. Yeah, it tore Western Kentucky up in these tornadoes. An F5 tornado, if you're from a tornado area, you know that an F5 tornado is not a small thing to encounter. And it tore that place up. But this is beyond anything that I've seen in Western Kentucky. I mean, town after town, county after county, just nothing but water. And that is an impact in itself. Last I heard, 46, I think, deaths right now with hundreds with an S still missing and unaccounted for.
Right. And anyone who's lived through a flood, as I have, but nothing near approaching what's happened in eastern Kentucky, understands that as devastating as a tornado is, it happens in a finite period of time. As horrific as that devastation is, there's a beginning into an end. And continuing rains, coupled with really the destruction of all the area's infrastructure. I mean, think of the things that we take for granted. In addition to electric power, the ability to make a cell phone call. That's, in some cases, marginal at best. Lawlessness, there are isolated situations with looting that's been anecdotally, important note, anecdotally reported. You're in the hottest, most difficult time of the year in the South. It's, again, the inability to just take a shower, the inability to just brush your teeth, the inability to just get changed into clean clothes is profound. And so we don't want to focus exclusively on the pain. What we're looking to do here, and an important part of this type of programming going forward, will be to coordinate a response. Hopes and prayers are great. They're important spiritually and emotionally. But what's going to help folks out right now is the availability of resources. I'm not here tonight, at least, to take shots at the government. But there are large institutional charities that see these as opportunities, not as tragedies, and they raise vast amounts of money. And there's a pretty poor track record of how much money goes into the community immediately, despite, in some cases, air quotes, international resources, right? As libertarians, we know we can do better. Even as we start off with this tragedy, we know that through sheer will and smarts and caring about our community, we can do better. So we learned some lessons out of the tragedy in Western Kentucky last year, and we're going to continue to learn some lessons on how to organize this moving forward. So tell us, and you may go full screen in a minute just because of some environmental conditions I'm in, but just give us an idea, lay out the process, because what's critical here is the process for which you engage with libertarians from around the country on a straightforward level so as to make the focus receiving and processing goods and services and donations, and you have a process in place in order to do distribution. So why don't you lay that all for us? If I go black for just a moment in terms of my screen, just keep going.
Yeah, so the process is really simple. It only takes a little bit of time to get everything together. I've got the resources, with truck driving, people that drives trucks, that's what I used to do for a living. So, I've got the resources of calling up people and saying, hey, if you ain't doing nothing, I can use your truck and your trailer. If you call like Walmarts and things like that and talk to them, they'll let you set a truck out there. Just like we're doing here, and like we did back in the tornadoes. We set up with Walmart, and people got online and they paid for stuff, ordered stuff, and just put my name down for the pickup. We go in, pick it up, put it on the truck. When we filled the truck, we took it out. And then obviously, everybody, the members of the Libertarian Party, stepped up in a big way in December with the tornadoes, even just with cash, coming to the Cash App. As I told Pat today, and I still have every receipt from the tornadoes. If anybody ever just needs to see them, I've got them, and that's the way to happen this time. Everything's transparent. Nothing goes in my pocket. 100% of the money goes straight to them. In December, like I told Pat, $20-some thousand in cash was spent. Hotel rooms, paying for people's hotel rooms, buying supplies to throw on the truck to take out there. It was amazing. volunteerism, that's the libertarian way. And, that's what we're doing. We're taking that human action. We're putting it to work. We're putting it to good use, to where it needs to be. Here in Kentucky, when this first happened, we first heard the floods, it was all over our state executive committee, chat, what are we going to do as a party? What can we do? And I'm like, guys, I'm already starting, and that's what we do. We stand up and we help when help's needed. It's just that's what I like doing. I don't want any kind of recognition from anything. I just want to be there to help. And to see these people's faces whenever the help arrives, that's the thank you I need. And that kind of a thank you means more than anything. It makes you feel even better than anything. But that's kind of the process that I've taken both in December with the tornadoes and here with the floods and things. But and I don't care a bit. If you have a disaster, in your state or somewhere that you're close to, whatever, give me a call, shoot me a message. I'll be glad to help you get something organized to get done what needs to be done.
I had a transition there with the signal for just a second. Did you have a chance to get into exactly what folks need?
No, I haven't done that yet. But right now, the big needs right now is not clothing. They've got a lot of clothes that's been brought, and plus there's going to be organizations to bring in clothes. They don't need any more clothing. They need things like water, clean water. They're not going to have clean water for a long time. They need the clean water. They need like cleaning supplies, like mop buckets, maybe some shovels, things like that to get all this daggone mud out of the streets, out of their homes, everything like that. Toothpaste, toothbrushes. It was great the last time. The Walmart we set up at in the tornadoes, guys, we ran them out of a lot of stuff. We bought all their water. We bought all their toothpaste. We bought all their toothbrushes. We cleaned them out on a lot of stuff. So they need that simple stuff like that right now. Just things that we take for granted every day, thinking, well, this is never going to leave us. Well, guess what? It's left a lot of people in Eastern Kentucky. And, if a family gets a case of water, well, that's just a quick wash off. But you know what? That's better than not having anything at all.
Right. So it's really the focus is on practical issues. The trucking exists in order to do the transport, so money won't be wasted on transportation or shipping costs. More importantly, we've got an effective way to get the material into the affected areas quickly. So that's all taken care of. So the key here is it's simple. We're going to keep bringing you up to date over the next week or so. On a regular basis as part of the affiliate and LPTV program that's going to take place. But, as we transition from immediate crisis into restoration, rebuilding, the important point here is we've got an orderly process for folks to invest a little bit in their community. We know a lot of people are facing a lot of challenges right now. So, you do what you can, without guilt. If you can contribute just a little, if a lot of us contribute a little, it goes a very, very long way. You mentioned briefly, what was the impact of overall in your mind and the sort of size and scope of our response to the tornadoes in Kentucky, in Western Kentucky?
Yeah, Pat, it was huge. I mean, we filled literally 2 trailers from Walmart and Lowe's during that from here in Lexington. And, the supplies that were on both those trailers, I'm going to guess roughly just in the supply part of it, that the things that went inside the trailers, I'm going to guess probably $120,000 worth of stuff that were taken out there. And then we had literally cash wise that was donated. I think I told you today, Pat, it was like $24,000
Right.
That ran through everything. And like I said, that, guys, you don't even know how much that helped some families, because we paid for hotel rooms, for a week at a time for people and families. One family lost a car, or lost all their cars, and their kid needed to get it down into Tennessee for medical treatment. We went and purchased a vehicle and give to that family.
Wow.
I mean, it was a tremendous impact. It helped a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that was very grateful for that.
Right. And isn't that fulfilling our mission? Ultimately, to show to people that private support, private charity is just so more targeted, so much more efficient, and just minus the coercion that takes place on these normal government drives, minus the overhead, the excessive salaries, everything folks donate to this effort is going to go directly to people in the Eastern Kentucky flood zone. And if we work on projects in the future, we will guarantee you, with this type of targeted drop shipping, that everything that we raise through the hard work and effort of libertarians around the nation will go directly to the affected zone. There isn't going to be any dilution. And again, the focus here, it's all voluntary. Remember that word, volunteerism? So again, I want to stress, regardless of what, the size of your contribution, if you can do it, it's all welcome. And it's going to go to a wonderful source. It's going to go to people who've really, the fates have sort of abandoned them for the time being. We need, in terms of community support, to reach into our hearts and see what we can do. I have so impressed by the folks at the Kentucky Libertarian Party to have dealt with this adversity twice in less than a year. Do you get the sense that it's brought libertarians together in Kentucky?
Yeah, it definitely has. Even the ones that don't even, like go to our conventions and things like that, that you really don't hear a lot from. Through both of this, with this Eastern Kentucky and Western Kentucky back in December, we all come together, and everybody stepped up and said, we've got to take that human action. And and they did. And not only LPKY, the members of LPKY, it was the members of LP National, because people from everywhere across this country helped out on doing what we accomplished.
Great stuff. I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my new friend, Connor Nepo, who is new to the Libertarian National Committee and has dived in along with the entire social media team to reinvent how we do outreach via the digital world to not only just our consistent libertarians, but folks who are new to the movement, or folks who may never have met a libertarian before. What's happening here under the new LNC is nothing short of miraculous. Tonight's our first night back at it. Again, Connor did an amazing job pulling this together, literally in 24 plus hours. We're going to deliver more information to you. We're going to work harder at getting really the nuts and bolts of affiliate life in the Libertarian Party out to you. We're going to work on bringing training that matters out to you. And again, we're going to continue and working with folks from like the LPKY to make sure that we are responded to humanitarian events, to political events. That's going to be your affiliate support committee, working in conjunction, no longer in silos, but working with all the associated committees, with all these new great volunteers, and this renewed sense of purpose. I can't say enough about your efforts. Part of me hopes we don't get to see each other that often for this reason. On the same sense, knowing that you're there with your distribution expertise, with your trucking expertise, as importantly, your willingness and your spirit to get stuff done, to dive right in a purposeful manner, is incredibly important to us going forward with these type of efforts. So I salute you. I salute the members of the party. Again, along the Chiron, along the bottom, you're going to see where you can send donations. It's posted on the Libertarian Party Facebook page. This will be posted on the and tweeted out on the Libertarian Party Twitter. Let's demonstrate to the world what libertarians can do in taking human action. Thank you all so much. And again, we got a question. Are there going to be other days to place an order for pickup other than this Friday? Yeah, let's. Great question, Oscar. You could actually probably start ordering tomorrow and just keep ordering. We'll tell you when to shut it down. If for a lot of folks, speaking for a friend, payday is tomorrow. So that's when I'll be able to make a donation. But other people are on different schedules. We'll let you know when it's time to shut it down. Okay. So great question. Thank you. Order all weekend into next week, and you'll see some regular posts from us updating you directly from, again, the Libertarian Party of Kentucky, who are the boots on the ground of this. So great question. Any other questions, please? pat.ford@lp.org, 617-835-1899. Feel free to call or text, post, reach out to me on social media, Twitter, and, of course, my personal page. We're an open book here. We want to make this work. So thank you all. Thank you, Connor, in the background, for pulling this together under some tricky circumstances. And we'll be in touch. Let us know how we can help and how we can help you help. We'll see you soon. Tuning out for tonight, the first affiliate spotlight in a wee bit of time, but we're back in business. We're going to be also having the candidate corner. That's going to revive within the next week or two. So we're looking forward to getting a full slate of candidates on in a conversational format where we can discuss issues. Again, pat.ford@lp.org, 617-835-1899. Thank you all and have a wonderful night.